The author discussed the miracle of self-discipline and how there are thousands of excuses for failure. He also mentioned that some people make more money living happier lives and accomplish much more in the same number of years than the majority. He asked the audience how many people would like to double their incomes and achieve financial independence. The author also shared that everyone has plans for the future, such as taking a vacation to a fantasy place, starting an exercise program, upgrading skills, getting finances under control, and doing all the things needed to achieve their goals. Lastly, he discussed the lack of a happy childhood, lack of education, and the inability to appreciate the economy. The first rule of success is to simply vote yourself off the island without making excuses. This involves using the intellect to think up rationalizations and justifications for not taking action. It is important to remember that there are thousands and even millions of people who have had worse lives than you who have gone on to do wonderful things with their lives. The question of why some people are more successful than you has been a driving force in life over the years. Self-discipline is key to avoiding the lure of excuses and is essential for a great life. The most important idea is that knowledge and determination are essential for success in the industry. The most important idea is that to achieve success, one must become a different person and develop self-discipline. This book provides a step-by-step guide to becoming a remarkable person who is capable of making remarkable achievements. It is written for ambitious, determined men and women who want to achieve everything that is possible for them in life. A chance encounter reveals the reason for success, as an older gentleman and a younger woman who appeared to be his assistant came along carrying trays of food and invited the author to join them. The most important success principle of all is self-discipline, which is the ability to do what you should do when you should do it whether you feel like it or not. It is the key to personal greatness and is the magic quality that opens all doors for you and makes everything else possible. Self-discipline is essential for success and personal fulfillment, as lack of it is the major cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. The two biggest enemies of success, happiness and personal fulfillment, are the path of least resistance and expediency. The expediency factor is an extension of the law of least resistance that leads to failure and underachievement. Self-discipline is defined as self-control, self-denial, self-mastery, delayed gratification, and long-term perspective. Long-term perspective is the ability to put off satisfaction in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term. Banfield defined time perspective as the amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining their present actions. Successful people are long-term thinkers, looking into the future to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goals they want to achieve. They practice self-discipline at all times and sacrifice in the short term to assure greater results and rewards in the long term. Short-term gain can cause long-term pain, and there are two laws that can lead to unintended consequences and perverse consequences. Self-discipline is key to creating a wonderful life. The common denominator of success is that successful people make a habit of doing the same things that unsuccessful people don't like to do, but do them anyway because they know that this is the price they have to pay if they want to enjoy greater success and rewards in the future. Herbert Gray found that successful people are more concerned with pleasing results, while unsuccessful people are more focused on personal enjoyment and immediate gratification. Dennis Waitley found that the top people were those who were more concerned with activities that were goal-achieving, while average people were more focused on activities that were tension-relieving. The simplest rule in the practice of self-discipline is to eat dinner before dessert in a meal, and a bumper sticker that says life is short is misleading. The most important idea is that it is important to develop the habit of self-discipline, which is the regular practice of disciplining yourself to do what you should do when you should do it whether you feel like it or not. It is hard to break the habit of taking the easy way of doing what is fun and enjoyable or eating dessert before dinner, but once developed it becomes stronger and leads to personal weakness. To develop the habit, it is necessary to make a firm decision about how you will behave in a particular area of activity and refuse to allow exceptions until the habit is firmly established. Self-discipline is learnable and can become an important part of becoming an excellent person by practicing it whenever it is called for. The most important idea is that self-discipline is essential for fulfilling one's full potential and achieving everything that is possible. Napoleon Hill concluded his best-selling book of the same name by saying that it is the key to self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride. This book is divided into 3 sections for greater ease of use, with Part 1 focusing on self-control and personal success, Part 2 on business sales and personal finance, and Part 3 on setting goals, building character, accepting responsibility, developing courage, and backing up with persistence and determination. The most important details in this text are that self-discipline and self-mastery are essential for personal success, and that the ultimate aim of human life is to be happy. It also explains that the first victory is to conquer self, and that one's ability to ask and answer that question correctly for themselves and then follow where it leads will largely determine whether they achieve their own happiness. Success is achieved through hard work and dedication. The most important details of the phrase "if you could wave a magic wand and make your life perfect in every way, what would it look like?" are that you could create your ideal life if your business, work, and career were ideal, your family life would be perfect, and you had enough money to begin moving towards your ideal levels of health and energy. Success is defined as being able to live your life in your own way, doing things you want to do and being successful. However, there are often excuses for not having the discipline to make yourself do what you should do whether you feel like it. Jeffrey Colvin's book Without Seeing the Dawn encourages people to not join the top % of people in society, as the majority of people make little effort to upgrade their skills and are overrated. The book also mentions the increasing disparity of productive ability based on knowledge, skill, and hard work, and the financial assets of the first generation. The wealthiest people in America are almost all first-generation multi-billionaire, with wealthy Americans such as Bill Hood, Marshall Marshall, and Peter Elaine starting with little money and some in debt. The books also ask why some people were able to achieve financial independence despite the financial struggles of the last generation of millionaires. Self-discipline is key to success, as it enables you to overcome natural tendencies and take on longer-term success. The law of sowing and reaping is a variation of the law of cause and effect, which states that if you want to achieve success in any area, you must determine how success is achieved and practice those skills and activities repeatedly until you achieve the same results. It also states that whatever you put in you get out as a result of what you have sown in the past, so if you are not happy with your current crop, it is up to you to plant a new crop to begin doing more of the things that lead to success and to stop engaging in those activities that lead to failure. Success is not an accident, but rather a result of doing what other successful people do over and over again. The most important idea is that successful people are willing to pay the price for the results they desire, but most people are not willing to do so. This is the main cause of underachievement and failure to realize their true potential. The great oilman H.L. Hunt, who was once the richest self-made billionaire in the world, said there are only 3 requirements for success: deciding what it is you want, determining the price that you're willing to pay to get it, and resolving to pay that price. Paying the full price is the key to success. The most important details in this text are that success must be paid in full and in advance, and that it is not like a restaurant where you can choose whatever you want but must pay for it before you eat it. Additionally, it is important to learn from the experts, read their books, listen to their audio programs, attend their seminars, write to them, or approach them directly and ask for advice. An example of this is given by an individual who attended an international dental conference and sat in on a session given by a Japanese dentist who discovered new technology in cosmetic surgery that improved the appearance of teeth and enabled people to look handsome or beautiful indefinitely. The most important details in this text are that by seeking out ideas and advice from other experts in his field, the author developed a national reputation and was able to raise his fees again and again, eventually making so much money that he was able to retire at the age of financially independent and spend the rest of his life with his family traveling and fulfilling his dreams. This story illustrates the importance of lifelong mental and physical fitness to achieve success. The speaker came to a seminar 5 years ago and was convinced by the presentation. Over the next 3 years, they tripled their income and became the top seller in their company. However, 2 years ago, their income flattened out and their materials stopped working. When they changed jobs, they stopped reading in sales, listening to audio programs, attending seminars, and becoming an expert in their field. To maintain their fitness, they must keep working at them every day, every week, and every month. Self-discipline is a powerful tool for changing one's character to become a stronger and better person. It has a powerful effect on one's mind and emotions, transforming them into a different person from the one they would have been without self-discipline. Self-discipline helps to crystallize and harden one's personality, making them stronger and more resolute, developing greater self-control and determination. To become a better person, one must learn and practice qualities and skills that they have never had before, and exert themselves to do what is hard and necessary rather than what is fun and easy. By doing so, they become a new person, stronger and more clearly defined, develop higher levels of self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride, and become a person of higher character and resolve. Success is its own reward, and the greatest reward is not the money you make, but rather the excellent person you become in the process of striving towards success and exerting self-discipline. To become an excellent person, it is important to take action by writing down answers to questions such as if your work life and career were ideal, family life was ideal, health was perfect, financial situation was ideal, why aren't you already as successful as you would like to be, what one discipline would help you the most to achieve all your goals, what one skill help you to realize more of your goals, and which one discipline would have the greatest positive impact on your life. The most important idea is that integrity is the most important quality when determining the depth and strength of a person's character. It takes tremendous self-discipline and willpower to become a person of character, and it is only when you are forced to choose one way or another to either live consistently with a value or to compromise it that you demonstrate your true character. It is important to guard your integrity as a sacred thing, as it is a statement about your true values and priorities. Becoming a person of character is the only way to develop your full character. It involves exercising willpower and self-discipline to live consistently with the very best that you know. When you choose the higher value over the lower, the more difficult over the easy, and the right over the wrong, you feel good about yourself, have a sense of personal pride, and earn the respect and esteem of all the people around you. If people do not trust you, you will never get ahead, and financial institutions will not lend money. The people you associate with have a major effect on your attitude and personality. The most important details of the phrases Rockefeller, Aristotle, and Rockefeller are that the development of character. Aristotle marked the advancement in society. The Rockefeller family was famous for being taught financial values at an early age. Children were given tasks and chores to perform before they received their allowance, and the values they learn are emphasized by studying them closely. As children grow up, they are exposed to the lessons they receive from the important people in their lives, and they accept what they say as their parent as a fact as absolute truth. The law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon grows and increases in your life. This means that when you study and read stories about men and women who demonstrated the kind of values that you. The core value of character is truth, which is essential for conveying the values of courage, discipline, and supporting others. To do this, one must admire and respect the people around them, and then think about their behavior in a way that reflects their values. For example, if one person were to spend an afternoon with someone living or dead, they would be more likely to display virtues and values that make them a valuable and interesting person. To practice these values, one should develop them by practicing them whenever called for, and repetition by repetition until it becomes a habit and locks in. This will help to ensure that people with highly developed characters behave in a manner consistent with their highest values. The self-ideal is composed of values, virtues, goals, aspirations, and the idea of the best person possible. Superior people are those who are clear about their own values and beliefs, while weak and irresolute people are unclear. Those with the highest self-image and self-esteem are more likely to take the path of least resistance and act expediently to get what they want in the short term. George Washington is famous for his honesty and his decision to cut down the cherry tree in the same way as the founding fathers of the United States. He believed that societies worldwide can be divided into two kinds of shared trust and low trust. Low trust is characterized by tyranny, thievery, dishonesty, and corruption, while high trust is the lubricant of human relationships. The United States has the Constitution and Bill of Rights which guarantee our rights, but they assume that elected representatives will be committed to protecting and defending those rights. The demand for honesty and integrity leads to the exposure and censure of dishonest people, while the inner mirror of self-image and self-esteem are the two parts of personality. Self-image is the way we see and think about ourselves, and is largely determined by how consistent it is. People tend to accept you at your own evaluation of yourself and treat you as an excellent person who is possessed of high character, and this can lead to a better understanding of you as a valuable and important person. Reigniting in a manner that is consistent with your highest values can help you to feel happier, more confident, and more confident. The most important details of the phrases "you like and respect yourself more, you feel happy about yourself" are that they have a tremendous impact on shaping one's character and character. To do this, one must act consistently and act in a way that is consistent with their values. Compromising one's values can lead to feelings of inadequacy and inferiority, while reverting to one's highest values and innermost convictions can help to solve any human problems. This can be done by using willpower and strength of character to return to the values that are most dear to you. The most important details in this text are that self-discipline and willpower are essential for the development of character, and that long-term thinking is essential for thinking about the long-term consequences of one's behavior. It is important to practice the universal maxim of Immanuel Kant, and to resolve to behave as though every act were to become a universal law for all people. It is also important to recognize when one is not living up to their highest values, and to make a decision to confront the situation and straighten it out the minute you do. Finally, it is important to program those values deeper and deeper into your subconscious until they begin to operate automatically in every situation. Finally, there are some action exercises for you to take out a sheet of paper and write out answers to these questions. The most important idea is to identify the most important virtue or quality in your life that you strive to practice and identify those situations that give you the most confidence, self-esteem, and personal worth. Self-discipline and responsibility is essential for success in business and life, and is essential for happiness, health, success, achievement, and personal leadership. Paul Getty's great insight is that the individual who wants to reach the top in business must appreciate the might and force of habit and be quick to break those habits that can break him and adopt those practices that will become the habits that help him achieve the success he desires. Accepting responsibility is one of the hardest of all disciplines, but without it no success is possible. The author's great revelation is that when they were living in a tiny apartment and working as a construction laborer, they had to get up at 3 a.m. to take 3 buses to work in order to make enough money to get by, and had no car, savings, or clothes for their needs. They had no radio or television and rarely went out in the evening. I realized that I was responsible for my life and for everything that happened to me, and that I could no longer blame others for my situation. The most important idea is that 80% of the population never accepts complete responsibility for their lives, which can have disastrous consequences for success and happiness later in life. This is because they are conditioned to see themselves as not responsible for their own lives, and as they grow up, they begin to make more and more of their own decisions in each of these areas, not because they have little choice or control, but because they are young, innocent, and unknowing. This has led to a lifelong practice of learning through reading, listening to audio programs, and attending courses and seminars to help them achieve their goals. The most common feeling that adults have as adults is the feeling of inadequacy and worthlessness due to being raised in a critical home environment, which can lead to an emotional trap of comparing ourselves unfavorably to others and developing feelings of inferiority. This can lead to feelings of guilt, unworthiness, and undeservingness, and can lead to the fatal fallacy of assuming that others are better than us and that we must be worse than them if they are worth more than we are. And to escape from these feelings of guilt and worthlessness, we lash out at our world and ask who's to blame. Most religions teach that we are responsible for our own lives and should take care of ourselves. The idea of guilt and punishment leads to feelings of anger, resentment, and irresponsibility, leading to thousands of people demanding redress and payment for something that went wrong in their lives. These people are attempting to escape responsibility for their own behavior by blaming someone else, making excuses, and then demanding compensation. Negative emotions are the major causes of psychosomatic illness, and the elimination of negative emotions is the key to happiness. Anger can cause serious health issues. The most important details in this text are that it takes tremendous self-discipline to refrain from blaming others for our problems, and to accept complete responsibility for everything you become and everything that happens to you. It is important to take control of your conscious mind and deliberately choose to think positive, constructive thoughts that enhance your life and improve the quality of your relationships and results. To eliminate negative emotions, it is important to immediately say "I am responsible" whenever something triggers anger or negative reaction. The law of substitution says that you can substitute a positive thought for a negative one, since your mind can only hold one thought at a time when you deliberately choose the positive thought. I am responsible. This is the fastest and most dependable way to eliminate negative emotions. The most important idea is that until an individual accepts responsibility for their own problems, no progress is possible, but after they do so, They transform themselves into a mental adult who is in charge of their own life and no longer a victim. This is especially true with money and emotions, as many of our biggest problems and concerns in life have to do with money. We are responsible for our financial life and can't blame others for our financial problems. Accepting responsibility and control is key to moving from being an economic child to an economic adult, as it increases personal control and happiness. Accepting responsibility eliminates negative emotions and provides a sense of control, and intelligence can be used to rationalize and blame other people for things you're not happy about. The most important idea is that a leader must accept responsibility for the situation and take action to solve it, even if they may not be legally at fault. Helen Keller is a leader who whines and complains rather than taking action when problems and difficulties arise. He encourages people to take responsibility for their lives by resolving in advance that they will not become upset or angry over things that they cannot affect or change. He also encourages self-discipline and willpower to accept responsibility for one's own actions and for their responses to everything that happens to them. He suggests that taking action is the only real antidote for anger or worry and that one should take complete control of their thoughts and feelings. He provides action exercises for those who want to become more productive and happy. Wayne Gretzky's quote emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and goals in order to be successful. He suggests that one should select a person in their past and accept complete responsibility for their financial situation. He also states that if one has a clear goal and a plan to achieve it, they should have a track to run on every single day instead of being sidetracked by distractions or diversions. This will help them to prioritize their goals and ultimately reach their goals. This study found that those with unwritten goals were more likely to achieve their goals than those with written down. Researchers divided a large number of people who had made New Year's resolutions into two categories and wrote them down, but only 4% of them followed through on their resolutions. The study also found that among those who had written down their resolutions, there was a difference of more than 1% in success, achieved by the simple act of writing out their resolutions on paper. This suggests that the discipline of writing is essential for success, as it increases the likelihood of achieving goals by 10 times or 1,000%. Goals increase the probability of success by 10 times, making them very good odds to have working in your favor. Writing down goals is a psycho-neuromotor activity that forces you to think and concentrate, and can help you choose what is more important to you and your future. The brain has both a success and failure mechanism, with the failure mechanism being the temptation to follow the undisciplined path of least resistance and the success mechanism being triggered by a goal. A client of mine recently told a story of how writing down goals and making plans for accomplishing them changed his life, leading to him earning more than $1 million a year and becoming the president of a fast-growing company. The homing pigeon is a remarkable bird that has an uncanny ability to fly back to its home roost no matter how far away it starts or in what direction it must go. It is the only creature on Earth that has this ability except for human beings, who can program a goal into their minds and then set out without knowing how to get there. Many people are hesitant to set goals, but the good news is that they just need to be clear about what they want to achieve. The 7-step method to achieving goals is a simple and effective way to set and achieve them faster. It involves deciding what you want, writing down an exact description of it, setting a deadline, and setting sub-deadlines or interim steps between where you are today and where you want to be in the future. This method will enable you to accomplish 10 times more than you've ever accomplished before and do so far faster than you can currently imagine. Henry Ford taught that goals are often unrealistic and require self-deception. To achieve a goal, it is important to break down a goal into small steps and make a list of the obstacles and difficulties that you will face in order to achieve it. This list should be organized by both sequence and priority, and then organize activities organized by sequence to determine what needs to be done first, second, and later on. The most important business plan should be developed based on market research to gather resources. Star Trek is a powerful goal-saving technique that encourages action-oriented action and encourages creativity. It involves taking action on a plan, taking the first step, then taking the second step and third step too. Get busy and delay procrastination. The key step is to do something that moves you in the direction of your goals and develop momentum. This can be done by writing down financial, family, and personal goals, as well as goals for personal possessions. To ensure success, doing this exercise requires writing down a minimum of 5 minutes every day. The most important details to remember when it comes to achieving a goal are to put a circle around it and write it at the top of a clean sheet of paper. This goal should be achieved within hours and should have the greatest positive impact on life. To achieve this goal, one should create a plan and organize it by sequence and priority and select the most important or logical next step in the plan. Mindstorming can also be used to increase the likelihood of success. Napoleon Hill is a classic thinking technique that has been used to become wealthy more often. It involves writing out the major definite purpose of one's page and then discipline themselves to generate answers to the question of how to earn money by a certain date. This exercise of mindstorming activates the mind and gives you ideas that may have never been thought of before the first 3 to 5 answers, but the last 10 answers will be harder than you can imagine. The great law of cause and effect states that thoughts are causes and conditions are effects, and when you take action on a single idea, it triggers more ideas and motivates you to take action. The most important application of this is that thoughts create the conditions of life. When you change your thinking, and the outer world becomes a mirror image of your inner world. John Boyle, author of the classic Success, Think and Grow Rich, said whatever you can think about on an everyday basis can be achieved through the discipline of daily goal setting. Self-discipline and personal excellence are essential for achieving material and emotional goals. Action exercises for you. 1. Resolve today to switch on your success mechanism and unlock your goal-achieving motivation by deciding what you want in life. Write down a list of goals and then take action on them by sequence and priority. Mindstorming is also a great way to achieve the most important goal. Finally, failure is not an option, and you are capable of becoming your most valuable asset. The most important idea is that investments in education and hard work have been instrumental in developing one's earning ability, which can be either an appreciating or a depreciating asset. The most important details of America are that the top % of people in society earn and control the assets. The average income increase in America is about % a year, and that those who are in the top 20% started in the bottom. This is because they have learned how the law of cause and effect applies to their work and have begun doing the things that others have done. It is also important to demonstrate that in the absence of a commitment to excellence in one's chosen field, one is likely to default. The most important details of the phrases Abraham Lincoln, Bertrand Russell wrote are that Abraham Lincoln wrote that the fact that some people have become wealthy is proof that others may do it as well, and that those who are at the bottom are likely to become some of the most prominent people in their fields. Bertrand Russell wrote the proof that something can be done by someone else has already done it extraordinarily. The key to success is personal and professional growth, and it is a dedication to lifelong learning that makes everything important. Every business skill is learnable, and every top salesperson was once a beginning salesperson. Wealthy people can learn anything they need to learn. Making a decision is the starting point for a career in the field when one is moving upward and towards becoming one of the most competent and highest paid people. This decision can be made to do something different, such as completing education, starting a new business, taking a job or starting a career, or investing in a particular way. It is important to make a commitment to achieving the goals set for you and to follow the leaders and followers of those who are already at the top of the field. David McClelland of Harvard was a famous figure in the Achieving Society who believed that selecting a reference group can have a significant impact on success at achievement. He argued that the reference group should be made up of people who you identify and associate with, such as Bob Barton, who had recently started his first real job with a large company with salespeople. Bob noticed that the top salespeople in the office were also associated with each other, and that the junior salespeople would come in later and make excuses for not making sales calls. To become a better example, Bob decided to dress and groom the way they did each morning and stand in front of his mirror to ask himself if he looked like one of the top salespeople in his office. Bob is a salesperson who began coming into the office and organizing his day in 4 years. He asked one of the top salespeople for advice and received advice from the other salespeople, which helped him to plan and organize his day. He then went to the National Sales Conference and asked for advice on what books, audio programs, and seminars were recommended. He took action on the advice and reported back to the people who had given it to him. His income increased several times and he wore beautiful clothes and drove a new car. He had a wonderful wife and was successful in his job. Bob is a salesperson who won the sales awards year after year and was the first person to ask top salespeople for advice. He believes that success is due to following the input given by salespeople and applying it to their sales activities. He also states that it is important to ask for advice from successful people who can provide advice and follow their advice, such as reading their books, attending their talks, and listening to audio programs. To become successful, one should do research on the best set of income and use it to achieve their goal of becoming the top money makers in their field. The most important details to remember when it comes to achieving high income in business and sales are to learn and do everyday activities, such as investing 3% of your income into yourself each year to increase your earning ability and upgrade your knowledge and skills. This is the magic number for lifelong learning and development, as it is the percentage of companies in every industry that invest in the training and development of their employees. A young man recently gave a seminar in Detroit that revealed his 3% rule for lifelong success. The most important idea is that investments in sales seminars, time management, and part-time coaching led to a significant increase in income. Investing in yourself and your field is a great way to increase your income. Last year, I passed $1 million in personal income and still invest 10% of it every year. To become the best in your field, you need discipline and application, which can be done by following 3 simple steps: reading minutes in the field, turning off the television and radio, and reading material about your field each day. 2. Listen to educational audio programs in their car. 3. Attend courses and seminars in their field regularly. And 4. Take online courses to upgrade their skills. Compound learning is the power of learning, and it takes 7 years or 10,000 hours of hard work to achieve mastery in any field. To achieve mastery, one must commit to excellence and follow up with continuous purposeful disciplined action. Talent is overrated, and the only direction to go is downhill. The average person does only an average job and worries about money all their life, but it is possible to move from worrying about money to being one of the highest paid people in their field by investing 2 hours each day. This can be done by calculating the number of hours in a week, deducting hours for work and sleep, and investing hours per day back into yourself. The average adult watches about 5 hours of television each day. But if they start reading in personal or professional development literature, listening to audio programs, and upgrading their skills in the evenings and on the weekends, it will become automatic and easy to learn and upgrade their skills. The most important details are that television can make people rich or poor, and that the more television they watch, the lower their levels of energy and self-esteem. Additionally, if they manage their time better and work on more valuable tasks, they can increase their output by 1/1000th in a day. Finally, there is a 7-step formula to increase productivity, performance, and output and income by 1000% over the next 10 years. The most important details are that it is possible for a normal, intelligent, hard-working individual to increase their output by 0.5% or 1/200th in a single week, and that by working on themselves a little bit each day, they can become 20% more productive over the course of an entire year. Additionally, if they continue to work on themselves, they can get better and better as the weeks and months go by the law of accumulation or the law of incremental improvement. Invest the first hour of the day in yourself by reading something educational, motivational, or spiritual. This will help you to improve your productivity and income, and can give you a 1000% increase over the course of your career. Additionally, write and rewrite your goals every day, make a list and set priorities, and plan every day in advance. These steps will help you become more focused, directed, and determined, and will help you achieve your goals faster. Time management techniques such as focusing on your top priorities can increase your income by 1000% over 10 years. Step 4 is to focus single-mindedly on one thing. Step 5 is to listen to educational audio programs in your car. Step 6 is to ask 2 magic questions after every call or event. And Step 7 is to review your performance by thinking about what you did right and what you would do differently. Step 8 is to program yourself to perform even better the next time. The most important details in this text are the 7 steps to personal growth and development. The first step is to treat every person you meet and work with as if they are the most important person in the world. The second step is to start by treating people like million-dollar customers by making them feel important and telling them that you love them. The third step is to practice these 7 steps each day for a month. After a month of regular practice, you will have formed a new habit of continuous personal improvement that can carry you onward and upward for the rest of your life. The most important details are that every time you learn and apply something new, your brain releases endorphins which make you feel happier and more excited about your future. Finally, the author emphasizes the importance of courage in overcoming the fears and doubts that hold most people back. The most important details in this text are that it is important to invest in oneself and getting better as if your future depends on it. Identify the most important skill you have. Make a plan to get better in each one. Set excellent performance as a goal. Look ahead 3 to 5 years. Select the top person in your field. Commit to lifelong learning, and develop self-discipline and courage. Courage is not absence of fear, but rather control of fear and mastery of fear. It is necessary to preserve life, prevent injury, and guard against financial mistakes. All fears are learned and can be unlearned by practicing. The most common fears that interfere with our happiness are the fears of failure, poverty, and loss of money. These fears cause people to avoid risk and to reject opportunity. Fear paralyzes action and is experienced physically starting in the solar plexus. Fear is a terrible emotion that undermines our happiness and can hold us back throughout our lives. Aristotle described courage as the golden mean between the extremes of cowardice and impetuousness and taught that to develop a quality that you lack, act as if you already had it. We can change our behavior by affirming, visualizing and acting as if we already have it. The law of reversibility is a key concept in success psychology that suggests that if one feels a certain way they will act, they will create a feeling that is consistent with that feeling. This is demonstrated by the call method, which encourages salespeople to go out and call on prospects as fast as possible without caring about whether or not they make a sale. This method helps to break out of a sales slump and is a daily prize for the first salesperson. Dale Carnegie is a system created by the American Psychological Association to help people become confident and competent when speaking on their feet in front of an audience. It is based on the idea of systematic desensitization, which involves standing up and giving a short talk on a specific subject at a luncheon or dinner meeting. At the end of each talk, the speaker receives applause and comments from the other members. This process of positive reinforcement increases the confidence of the speaker and allows them to become better public speakers. However, certain fears of public speaking are bundled together in the subconscious mind and can be difficult to overcome. To take a Dale Carnegie course, one can learn to speak confidently on their own fears of rejection and increase their self-confidence in their interactions with others. The most important details to remember when it comes to confronting fears are to confront oneself and act in spite of them. A woman was one of the highest-rated employees in the organization and was making her life miserable when her boss was constantly criticizing and berating her. She was afraid of confronting him and gave her advice to do so, but the only way to deal with a bully was to confront him. She had courage and apologized to her, but then went back to her boss and never criticized her again. She told me that she could have ended her bad treatment for many months. Leaders have two types of courage in leadership: vision and courage. Vision leaders have a clear vision of where they want to take their organizations, while courage leaders have the courage to do whatever is necessary to fulfill their vision. Courageous patience is the ability to hang in there and continue working and fighting after they have seen no immediate results or rewards. Denial is a major source of stress, unhappiness, and psychosomatic illness. The most important idea is to be willing to deal with the situation or person directly and to create a disaster report to destroy fear and worry. The disaster report has 4 parts: define the worry situation clearly, identify the worst possible thing that could happen, resolve to accept the worst possible outcome, and begin immediately to improve on the worst. Taking action immediately to make sure the worst does not occur is the only real cure for fear or worry. The most important idea is that purposeful action in the direction of your goals is essential for success. To develop the self-discipline of persistence, it is important to identify your 3 biggest fears in life right now, determine what you would do in each of these situations if you are guaranteed of complete success, and take action to confront and eliminate those fears. Benjamin Disraeli wrote that persistence is essential to success and that failure is due to lack of persistence or quitting too soon. Self-discipline and persistence are both essential for success and failure, and there is a direct link between them. Self-esteem is an important factor in life and is linked to self-discipline and persistence. When you discipline yourself to do what you should do, you become stronger and more confident, and the reward of persistence is its own reward. The primary difference between winners and losers in life is simple: winners never quit and quitters never win. To increase your ability to persist, you must speak to yourself positively and never give up before you can achieve anything worthwhile in life. This is demonstrated by showing yourself and others the strength of your character and determination to succeed, and your level of responsibility is the measure of your readiness to succeed when you experience a major setback or problem. The most important details to remember when it comes to success in the face of unexpected setbacks are resilience, optimism, and discipline. Resilience is key to success, as is optimism, which is a boundless confidence in oneself and the ability to remain optimistic. Refusing to blame others or make excuses for what happened can help to resolve the situation, while remaining optimistic and productive. Every setback contains lessons to help individuals become more successful in the future, such as looking for the good in every situation and being proactive versus reactive. The difference between success and failure is simple failures, as failure often feels sorry for oneself. Napoleon Hill wrote about a British general who stands like an iron peg driven into the frozen ground immovable. He encourages people to be disciplined and persistent in the face of adversity, believing that this will lead to long-term success. He emphasizes that no matter how difficult the situation, it is possible to reach one's goals and become a strong and confident person. This will help them become more capable of persisting and eventually becoming a force of nature. Self-discipline is an important part of life and is essential for success in the workplace. It is important to identify one area in life where you need to persist harder to achieve your goal and take action in order to achieve it. This can be done through action exercises such as writing down goals and creating a plan of action to accomplish them. Ultimately, success is achieved through persistence and hard work. Leaders are not born, and it is through doing the most important tasks that you move onward and upward quickly and dependably in your career that you will be successful. According to Robert Half International, the most important qualities for career success are the ability to set priorities and work on high-value tasks and the discipline to get the job done quickly. According to Weber Half International, 80% of what is accomplished comes from 29% of tasks, while another 13% is wasted due to idle conversations with coworkers, long lunches, coffee breaks, surfing the internet, and conducting personal business. This can lead to a feeling of being caught up and under continual pressure to get back on top of deadlines. To improve time management, it is important to focus on hard work and dedication in order to develop a reputation for hard work every hour. Average employees increase their income at only 3% per year, while the top 20% of people in most fields increase their incomes from 10 to 2,025%. The bottom is 80% of employees who have no choice but to share the money left over. To double income, individuals should set a goal to double their income in the months and years ahead. It is important to recognize that the company is not willing to pay the money, and that the individual is not contributing enough to be worth the additional money. The Law of Three helps individuals prioritize their companies. The Law of Three is an exercise designed to help entrepreneurs and business owners double their productivity, performance, and output. It involves making a list of all the things they do in a week or month from the time they start work until the end of the week. They then ask themselves which one task or activity contributes the most value to their company. They then use the hourly rate method to calculate their personal value and time allocation, which is calculated by dividing their annual income by the number of hours they work each year. The goal is to identify 3 critical tasks and then discipline yourself to do them all day long. All of the other minor tasks will be support tasks, complementary tasks, enjoyable tasks, or useless tasks. Resolve to do only those tasks that pay you your hourly rate and refuse to do those that someone else can do at a lower hourly rate. Make a list of all the results you feel you have been hired to accomplish and determine your 3 most important things that you do to justify your hourly rate. Take your list of key activities to your boss and have them organized based on his or her priorities. Benjamin Trigo, co-founder of the Kepner-Trigo consulting firm and author of The Rational Manager, once said that the worst use of time is to do very well what need not be done at all. Working on low-value tasks can keep you from working on the most important things and can sabotage your career. The key to doubling productivity and output and eventually increasing income is to really work all the time you're at work. The most important idea is that when working, don't waste time, don't chat with coworkers, and don't read the newspaper or surf the internet. The biggest time wasters in the world of work are other people who want to talk with you and take up the time that should be spent on high-value tasks. When a time waster approaches you and says, "Do you have a minute to talk?" respond by saying, "Yes, but not now. Why don't we talk at lunchtime or after work?" If you do this often enough, they will develop the habit of leaving you alone and instead finding someone else with whom to waste time. To stay motivated and focused, repeat the magic words back to the person who works hardest. This list is used to determine who gets paid more and promoted faster than others. The most important details in this text are that it takes tremendous self-discipline to work all the time and fight against distractions and interruptions at work, and that the success formula that made the author successful was simple. Whenever their boss gave them something to do, they would immediately complete the task and bring in the results. The author was the low man on the totem pole and had no idea how to play the game or what to do to get ahead in the cutthroat corporate competition. However, their boss began to toss them sticks and give them tasks to keep them busy, and after 6 months, he began to see them as the hardest working person in the company. The narrator was the go-to guy for their boss and was asked to fly to Reno to begin development work on a property that the company was purchasing. When they arrived, they found that the property was undevelopable due to complex laws and limited riparian rights. They immediately stopped the transaction and the lawyer cut them a certified check for the deposit. The narrator was then given more and more responsibilities and eventually became running 3 divisions of the company and had a staff of people in 3 cities. They later learned that their boss paid them more money than anyone else who ever worked for him on the basis of results and profitability. They believe that doing things quickly and well will help them advance in their career more than any other reputation. The most important details in this text are the 3-part formula for success at work: come in a little earlier, work a little harder, and stay a little later. This will move you far ahead of your competitors and allow you to plan and organize your day and get started on your most important tasks. Additionally, by working through lunch and working 1 hour later, you can add 3 full productive hours to your day, doubling or even triple your productivity performance and output. Finally, the plus formula states that you can tell where you will be 5 years from now by looking at the number of hours you put in today. Dress for success is an important part of any profession, as it gives oneself an advantage over the other people in the company and business. It is an investment in future success by putting in more than what is paid for discipline and allowing one to make the most successful self-made millionaire work hours per week. To succeed at work, one must be disciplined and look the part, such as wearing a hat and talking to others. They should also read books and articles, ask for advice, and remember that the first impression made on others will be determined by their dress and grooming, and the second and third impressions should be consistent with the message sent. Self-discipline is essential for a leader to become one of the most valuable people in their organization. It is important to discipline yourself to increase the value of one's contribution to the company and to guarantee a successful future. This can be done by making a list of tasks that contribute the greatest value to one's work and company, setting a new work schedule, and then working on those results all day long to determine the person who is the best dressed and groomed. Leaders should also be able to use their own discipline as a role model and be in control of themselves and their team. This will help them to develop their reputation for being the hardest working person in their company and move fast when given a job or opportunity. Peter Drucker famously said that there are natural-born leaders who make no difference in the great scheme of things. As one grows, they become more knowledgeable and effective in getting better results from more and different people. It is said that some leaders are made, some are born, and some are promoted to deal with a situation requiring leadership ability. The primary reason for people being promoted into increasingly higher levels of leadership is because they demonstrate the ability to get the required results at each level. Leaders must have vision in order to do the most important job expected of them and get the results demanded of them. The most important idea is that leadership is the quality of vision, which is the ability to project forward into the future and develop a clear vision of where they want their organizations to get, share this vision with others, and gain commitment to make it a reality. This can be boiled down to a single principle. A military leader has a vision of victory from which he never deviates. Business leaders have a vision of success based on excellent performance, and a leader is a standard bearer who sets the standard for the organization or department. The leader is the role model, setting the tone for everyone in the organization, and the personality and influence of the leader affects everyone below him. They must discipline themselves to be leaders, like they must walk, talk, and act the part of a leader, and become a different person with different responsibilities than a manager when they are working their way up. The most important behavior of a leader is to be a role model and set the standards for the organization's behavior, quality of work, personal organization, time management, and appearance. The leader sets a tone that everyone wants to emulate and sets the standard for how people are treated in the organization. To be an effective leader, the leader must have a clear vision for the organization and a set of values and organizing principles that guide behavior and decision-making. The golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you is also important, as it encourages managers to treat their staff with a high degree of respect and courtesy. The most important details are that the leader must be clear about who they are and what they stand for, set a standard of excellent performance, commit to the success of the organization, identify constraints, allocate resources to alleviate them, foster creativity, encourage people to find faster, better, cheaper, and easier ways to produce excellent products and services, and take better care of customers. Additionally, the leader must attend additional seminars and courses to improve their skills and abilities. The most important details in this text are that the leader encourages everyone in the organization to learn and grow, provides time and resources for training and development, has the self-discipline to be consistent, calm, reliable, and predictable in all situations, and is calm, positive, and confident especially under pressure. They also recognize that everything they say to or about another person is magnified, so they praise and encourage people both in their presence and when they are not around. Finally, the leader must demonstrate their competence in times of crisis by being calm, cool, objective, and completely in control, asking questions and gathering information, and making whatever decisions are necessary to minimize the damage or cut losses. The most important details in this text are the leadership qualities of great leaders, such as discipline, responsibility, and action-orientedness. These qualities are essential for success in business life and activities. Leaders must take complete responsibility for getting results, focus on completing their most important tasks, continually upgrade their knowledge and skills, contribute value to their company, treat others with kindness and consideration, set measures and standards, and insist that the job be done quickly and well. Additionally, they must develop and practice the disciplines necessary to be more successful in their business life. Finally, they must create a clear, exciting vision for themselves and their organization based on success and excellent performance, identify the most important people in their business world, and resolve in advance that when the inevitable crisis occurs, they will respond in a calm, controlled manner. The most important details in this text are the importance of self-discipline and self-control in business, the law of scarcity, and the law of competition. Self-discipline is essential for success in business, as there is never enough of anything for everyone who wants. The law of competition requires focus and discipline to attract the scarce money of customers toward purchasing your product or service. The first discipline of business success is that you offer a product or service that people want and will pay for at a price they will accept. Businesses must be honest with their product-service mix to ensure that it is well suited to the current market. False assumptions or incorrect conclusions can lead to failure, so it is important to have self-discipline and character to face the possibility of being wrong. Self-discipline is essential if you want to minimize mistakes and redirect resources toward offering customers more of the things they really want and are willing to pay for. Additionally, business startups require a high level of optimism and marketability, so they must be willing to undertake financial risk and invest many hours, weeks, and even years to achieve their goals. Finally, they must discipline themselves to be equal to or better than their competitors in order to survive. The most important details in this text are that entrepreneurs must have the discipline to do their homework thoroughly in advance, create a complete business plan before starting operations, and test their assumptions before committing to a business. These assumptions must be tested carefully before any irrevocable commitment is made, as errant assumptions lie at the root of every failure. Additionally, entrepreneurs must identify and determine their ideal customer, who can and will buy their product or service in sufficient quantities and at the price they need to charge in order to justify going into this area of business in the first place. This discipline can make the difference between success and failure. Develop a marketing plan that generates a steady and predictable stream of new leads for your business to market effectively. Develop a competitive advantage and unique selling proposition. Develop a complete sales system. Determine accurate costs and pricing. Develop a quality control system. And develop a customer service policy. The purpose of a business is to please customers in a cost-effective manner, and profits are the result of creating and keeping customers who yield a sufficient number of profits. Customer satisfaction is the key measure of business success. The most important details in this text are that customer satisfaction is the key to long-term success, and that repeat business is the measure of customer satisfaction. Successful businesses rely on repeat business, which is only possible with high levels of customer satisfaction, and that recommendations and referrals are the key to success. To achieve this, Businesses must develop and maintain customer service policies that cause people to buy from them, then buy again, and recommend them to their friends and associates. They must also set high standards of excellent performance in every area of their business and practice the Connie formula, which stands for continuous and never-ending improvement. Finally, they must be prepared to work long, hard hours for many months and even years to get to the top of their field. To succeed in business, it is important to have the self-discipline to be proactive rather than reactive, focus on solutions rather than problems, focus on the most important thing, and settle in for the long term. It takes many years of disciplined effort to become successful, but there is only one way to get to the top, and that is through hard work, discipline, and willpower. To achieve this, one should take action exercises such as stand back and look at every area of the business, identify the 20% of products and services that account for 80% of sales and profits, and project forward 2 and 5 years in order to become truly successful. The most important element in business success is selling, as it is the only profession in which a person can start with limited skills and achieve one of the highest incomes in the U.S. To succeed in sales, one must have the self-discipline to focus and concentrate on generating sales every hour of every business day. Research has shown that low sales are the most important factor in business success, while high sales are secondary. Salesperson is a key concept in business and requires discipline and time to focus on generating sales. To do this, one must dedicate themselves entirely to sales generation and focus on getting their salespeople to generate the sales they need. This includes planning paperwork and advertising activities, designing a complete sales process, and making appointments. The most important question for a salesperson is whether what they are doing right now is leading to a sale, which is a question that is frequently answered. Salespeople at Columbia University must turn their attention to sales generation and stop doing things that are not of lower value. They must also be disciplined and increase their face-to-face conversations with customers and prospects. This is the biggest problem that telephone salespeople and outside salespeople face, as rejection does more to sabotage a sales career and undermine sales activities. The average salesperson works about 1.5 hours a day, spending the rest of the time warming up, getting ready paperwork, and taking extended lunches and coffee breaks. To generate a high, consistent, and predictable level of sales results, salespeople must procrastinate throughout the sales day. Through this, they can realize that rejection is not personal prospective customers and that it is the key to sales success. The author discussed the miracle of self-discipline and how there are thousands of excuses for failure in the market. He also mentioned that some people make more money, live happier lives, and accomplish much more in the same number of years than others. He asked the audience for advice on how to achieve financial independence and how to lose weight and get out of debt. The author also shared that 80% of the population lives on Sundays and 80% of them live on the island, and that their excuses are often discussed. The first rule of success is to vote yourself off the island and resist the lure of excuses. Self-discipline is the key to a great life, and without it no lasting success is possible. It is important to look around and ask if there are others who have had it worse than you, who have gone on to do wonderful things. It is also important to put as much energy into achieving goals as they spend making up excuses for failure. The development of self-discipline changed my life, and it will change yours. This book is written for ambitious, determined men and women who want to achieve everything that is possible for them in life. It provides a step-by-step guide to becoming a successful person who is capable of making remarkable achievements. Self-discipline is essential to success, and it is not the material things that matter, but the quality of the person. A chance encounter reveals the reason for success. The most important success principle of all is self-discipline, which is the ability to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. It is the key to personal greatness and is the magic quality that opens all doors for you and makes everything else possible. Without it, the average person will never rise above mediocrity. Self-discipline is essential for success, as it is the key to success, training failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness. The two biggest enemies of success are the path of least resistance and the expediency factor, which is the cause of people to take shortcuts to everything. They arrive at work and leave at the last minute. This leads to a tendency to seek an easier way to get the things they want rather than doing what is hard but necessary for real success. Self-control is also defined as self-control, which requires one to deny oneself and control their behaviors in order to become successful. Ultimately, Self-mastery success is only possible when one can master their own emotions and desires. Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard University conducted a study into the reasons for upward socioeconomic mobility in America and concluded that the most important single attribute of people who achieved great success in life was long-term perspective. He defined time perspective as the amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining their present actions. Long-term thinking is a developed skill that allows individuals to look into the future and determine what they want to become in the long term, then return to the present to determine the things they will have to do or not do to achieve their desired outcomes. This practice applies to work, career, marriage, relationships, money, and personal conduct. Compulsory thinking is the willingness to make sacrifices in the short term, both large and small, so as to assure greater results and rewards in the longer term. This willingness to sacrifice is demonstrated by those who spend many hours and years preparing and upgrading their skills to make themselves more valuable so that they can have a better life in the future. The law of unintended consequences and the law of perverse consequences are two laws that can be used to prevent and enhance the consequences of failing to practice self-discipline. The common denominator of success is successful people who are more focused on pleasing results and pleasing results, while unsuccessful people are more concerned with personal enjoyment and immediate gratification. This is a quality of the superior thinker. Short-term gain can cause long-term pain. Self-discipline is the practice of eating dinner before dessert in a meal. It is the simplest rule in the practice and is hard to break down into good habits. Good habits are hard to form but easy to live with and are often seen as self-mastery and self-control. However, once developed, these habits become automatic and easy to practice. All habits are learnable and can be learned through practice. Self-discipline is essential for achieving one's full potential and achieving their goals. It is a lifelong task that requires discipline and self-esteem, and can lead to better self-image, self-respect, and personal growth. Napoleon Hill's book Self-Discipline outlines the importance of developing this habit, which helps to resolve obstacles and create a wonderful life for oneself. Self-discipline is essential for personal potential, business sales, personal finance, and other aspects of life. It is used to set goals, build character, accept responsibility, develop courage, and back with persistence and determination. In the 7 chapters of Part 2, we will learn how to achieve vastly more than ever before, operate a business more profitably, make more sales, invest more intelligently, and manage time for maximum results. We will also learn about how to apply the miracle of self-discipline to our personal life, such as happiness, health, fitness, marriage, friendship, and peace of mind. We will also teach how to take control over our own personal and professional development, become a stronger and more self-confident person, break old habits, and develop self-reliances. Ultimately, our success in life depends on the person we become, as Aristotle wrote, the ultimate end of life with the development of character. Self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride are essential for personal greatness. To become an excellent person, one must learn how to develop these disciplines and build them into their own character and personality. The ultimate aim of human life is to be happy, and this can be achieved through self-discipline and success. It is important to define success in terms of what one would do if their business, work, and career were ideal, what sort of a company they would work for, what kind of money they would earn, and how to create a perfect career. Additionally, health and fitness should be taken into account when making decisions, and financial situations should be ideal for each individual. Success is defined as being able to live one's own way and doing more than what you want to do. The biggest thing that holds you back from achieving your goals is usually a lack of self-discipline. The top % of people earn 80% of the money and enjoy 80% of the riches and reward has been proven over and over again since it was first formulated by Vilfredo Pareto. The goal in one's career should be to get into the top in their chosen field and gain knowledge and skills. However, the majority of people make little or no effort to upgrade their skills, and only the top people in every field are committed to continuous improvement due to the increasing disparity of productive ability based on knowledge, skill, and hard work. Most people start out the same in life with little or nothing and earn everything they own in their current lifetime. The wealthiest people in America are almost all first-generation multi-billionaire lists, with the majority of them being millionaires and multimillionaires who started with little money and were often penniless and deeply in debt. The accounts of the millionaires mentioned in this article focus on why some people are more successful in selling than others. They explain that hard work is essential for success, and that it is only possible when one can overcome the natural tendency to cut corners and take the easy way of lasting success. The most famous example of this is Bill Graham, who was able to achieve financial independence despite not having a better education or intelligence. This story highlights the importance of hard work and self-discipline, and how it can help to ensure success. The law of cause and effect of sowing and reaping states that for every effect there is a specific cause or series of causes. This law says that if you want to achieve success in any area, you must determine how success is achieved in that area and practice those skills and activities repeatedly until you achieve the same results. It also states that whatever you put in you get out, and that whatever you are reaping today is a result of what you have sown in the past. Self-discipline is key to achieving success and avoiding financial worries and failure in the long term. The great oilman H.L. Hunt, who was once the richest self-made billionaire in the world, was once asked for his secrets of success. He replied that there are only 3 requirements for success: deciding what it is you want in life, determining the price that you have to pay to get it, and resolving to pay that price. He also said that the second most important success principle after self-discipline is that you must learn from the experts, as you will never live long enough to learn it all for yourself. Finally, he said that the price of success must always be paid in full and in advance, as it is not like a restaurant where you can choose whatever you want but must pay for it before you eat it. Learning from experts can help you change your life. An example of this is an example of a dentist who discovered a new technology in cosmetic surgery that improved the appearance of teeth and enabled people to look handsome or beautiful indefinitely. Through seeking out ideas and advice from other experts in his field, he became the leader in his field and was able to retire financially independent. This story can be used to help you achieve the same level of financial success. The most important details in this text are that mental and physical fitness are essential for achieving success, and that when you become a lifelong student of your craft, you should never stop until your life and career are over and you have achieved all the success you desire. This story is about a salesman who was convinced by a seminar about 5 years ago to buy and listen to audio programs on sales, time management, and personal success, but then his income flattened out and his materials stopped working after a certain point. He then changed jobs and stopped reading in sales, listening to audio programs, and attending seminars. He then was hired away by another company and his income has remained flat ever since. Self-discipline is essential for becoming an expert in one's field and for achieving great successes. It has a powerful effect on the mind and emotions, and can crystallize and harden a person's personality. To become a superior character, one must exert higher levels of self-discipline and self-mastery on themselves. To achieve something that they have never achieved before, one must learn and practice qualities and skills that they've never had before. Self-discipline can also shape and strengthen one's personality and transform them into a better person. The greatest reward of success is not the money you make, but rather the excellent person you become in the process of striving towards success and exerting self-discipline. To become an excellent person, it is important to develop higher levels of self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride, move up the ladder of humane evolution, and become a person of higher character and resolve. Self-discipline and character are key to becoming an excellent person and achieving more than you ever have before. It is important to hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anyone else expects of you, never excuse yourself, and be a hard master to yourself. The development of character is an important part of life, and the ability to develop a reputation as a person of character and honor is the highest achievement of both social and business life. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that character is the sum total of all your choices and decisions in life up to this date, and that it takes tremendous self-discipline and willpower to become a good person. There are a series of virtues or values that are usually possessed by people of character, such as courage, compassion, generosity, temperance, persistence, and friendliness. Integrity is the most important factor when determining the depth and strength of character, as it is the quality of living in complete truth with yourself and other people. It is only when you are under pressure, when you are forced to choose one way or another to either live consistently with a value or to compromise it, that you demonstrate your true character. Emerson's advice is to guard your integrity as a sacred thing and to choose what is more important or of higher value to you over what is less important or of lesser value. The only way to develop your full character is by exercising willpower and self-discipline to live consistently with the very best that you know. The payoff for becoming a person of character is tremendous, as when you choose the higher value over the lower, the more difficult over the easy, and the right over the wrong, you feel good about yourself, like and respect yourself more, have a great sense of personal pride, and earn the respect and esteem of all the people around you. However, if people do not trust you, you will never get ahead and will not be able to get ahead. Aristotle wrote that all advancement in society begins with the development of the character of the young, which means that advancement in life begins with the learning and practice of values. The most important details in this text are that parenting is a process of teaching children values, which requires patient instruction and explaining values to them over and over again. Parents must not only give illustrations, but also contrast the adherence to a value with its opposite. The Rockefeller family children were taught financial values at an early age, and they grew up to become successful businessmen and statesmen. The law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon grows and increases in your life, which means that when you study and read stories about men and women who demonstrated the kind of values that you admire, you learn values by studying them closely. The core value of character is truth, which is essential for conveying the values of courage, discipline, and supporting others. To do this, one must admire and respect the people around them, and then think about their behavior in a way that reflects their values. For example, if one person were to spend an afternoon with someone living or dead, they would be more likely to display virtues and values that make them a valuable and interesting person. To practice these values, one should develop them by practicing them whenever called for, and repetition by repetition until it becomes a habit and locks in. This will help to ensure that people with highly developed characters behave in a manner consistent with their highest values. The United States wrote that we hereby pledge our lives to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which includes the social virtues and the creation of prosperity philosophers. The psychology of character involves the three parts of our personality: ideal, self-image and self-esteem. The self-ideal is composed of values, virtues, goals and aspirations. Superior people are those who are clear about their own values and have complete clarity about what they believe in and stand for. Weak and irresolute people are fuzzy and unclear about their values and take the path of least resistance. Life forms are categorized from the least to the most complex, from single-celled plankton to the increasingly complex spectrum of life to the human beings. Low and middle-income humans are those with no values and character and act expediently to get what they want in the short term. The United States has a Constitution and Bill of Rights which guarantee the rights of its citizens, but they fail to ensure that only men and women of character can thrive and prosper over the long term. This is especially true in societies characterized by tyranny, dishonesty and corruption, where trust is the lubricant of human relationships and economic activity flourishes. The demand for honesty and integrity leads to the exposure and censure of dishonest people, and the second part of personality is self-image, which is the way we think and feel. The third part of a person's personality is their self-esteem, which is how much they like themselves. It is determined by how consistent their self-image is with their highest values and how they behave in a manner that is consistent with them. When they act consistently with who they consider an excellent person to be, they feel happier and more confident, and their behavior and outward performance reflect this inner picture of themselves as the very best person they can possibly be. They also treat other people with courtesy and respect, and strive to be the best version of themselves. Role models have a tremendous impact on shaping character, and it is important to always behave consistently in a way consistent with your values to feel good about yourself and not feel bad about yourself. The most important details are that when we compromise our values, we feel uneasy and inferior, and that when we use our willpower and strength of character to return to the values that are most dear to us, we are rewarded with a wonderful feeling of happiness and exhilaration. Self-discipline and willpower are essential for the development of character, and it is important to think about the long-term consequences of our behavior in order to make the right decision. The most important idea is to resolve to behave as though your every act were a universal law for all people, and to make a decision this very minute to confront the situation and straighten it out. This will help us to feel happy and back in control. The most important idea is that by focusing on the virtues and values that you most admire and respect, you can program those values into your subconscious and move rapidly along the path to becoming an excellent person. To do this, take out a sheet of paper and write out your answers to 3 people living or dead. Identify the most important virtue or quality in your life that you strive to practice. Identify those situations in which you feel the most confident, identify your greatest feelings of self-esteem and personal worth, and identify one quality you would like people to think of when your name is mentioned. Write these answers down and then begin to practice them. This will help you reach the top in business and achieve the success you desire. The most important idea is that accepting responsibility for one's life is essential for happiness, success, and personal leadership. This was demonstrated by a young man who was living in a tiny apartment and working as a construction laborer. He realized that he was completely responsible for his life and for everything that happened to him, and that he could no longer blame others for his situation. He also realized that unless he changed, nothing else was going to change, and that no one else really cared. The most important details in this text are the author's decision to accept more and more responsibility for their life and the lifelong practice of buying books with information, ideas and lessons to help them achieve their goals. They learned that fully 80% of the population never accepts complete responsibility for their lives and that this can lead to negative consequences later in life, such as sabotaging their hopes for success and happiness. They also learned that when they are young, they are conditioned to see themselves as not responsible for their lives, but as they grow up, they begin to make more and more of their own decisions in each of these areas, but are still conditioned to feel that someone else is still in charge. The most common feeling that adults have as adults is the feeling that they are not good enough, which can lead to comparisons to others and feelings of inferiority. This feeling of inadequacy and worthlessness can lead to a fatal fallacy, where we unconsciously assume that we must be worse than others if they are worth more than we are. This can lead to personality problems, political and social problems, and feelings of guilt and worthlessness that have been instilled in us as a result of destructive criticism in childhood. Negative emotions are a common problem in life, with the most common being guilt, envy, fear, and wrath. These emotions are often directed outwardly when criticizing or attacking others, and can lead to heart attacks, strokes, and nervous breakdown. To truly be happy, people should eliminate negative emotions and focus on positive emotions. Negative emotions are a common response to blaming someone or something else for something in one's life that they are not happy about. It takes tremendous self-discipline to refuse to make excuses and to accept complete responsibility for everything you are. The payoff of this form of positive thinking is easy by following the path of least resistance, but it can lead to a mindless behavior and an unhealthy focus on negative emotions. The fastest and most dependable way to eliminate negative emotions is to immediately say I am responsible and quickly neutralize the feelings of negativity. The law of substitution states that one can substitute a positive thought for a negative one when they deliberately choose the positive thought, and it is not possible to accept responsibility and experience negative emotions at the same time. The most important details in this text are that it is important to accept responsibility for one's own life and to transform oneself into a mental adult. This is especially true in difficult situations, such as money earning, spending, and investing, and can lead to negative emotions. It is only when one accepts responsibility for their income and invests in it that they can move from being an economic child to an economic adult. Responsibility and control. There is a direct relationship between the acceptance of responsibility and the amount of personal control they have over their life, and between the greater sense of control they experience and the more positive they feel. The most important details of the phrase responsibility are that it is a powerful and purposeful way to accept responsibility for a situation. It is important to look into the situation to find the reasons why you are responsible for what happened and to take action to solve it. Even if an accident has occurred, you are still responsible for your responses and should not complain. The leader should accept their responsibility for the situation and take responsibility for their own actions. They should also resolve in advance that they will not become angry or depressed over circumstances and situations over which they have no control. Additionally, they should not allow themselves to be angry and unhappy in the present due to past events, but instead think instead of worrying about the future. Taking responsibility for one's life is the key to self-control and self-discipline. Responsibility for one's own actions is the only antidote for anger or worry. To become a more effective, happy and positive person, one should accept responsibility for their own actions and not make excuses. This includes considering the past, selecting a relationship, giving 3 reasons for what happened, accepting financial situations, and accepting complete responsibility for family and health. Additionally, self-discipline and goals should be encouraged to work towards one's goals. A study was conducted to identify a large number of people who had set New Year's resolutions and written them down. The study found that only 3% of adults had written goals and plans, with the third percent earning more than the other 3%. This is because of a clear goal and a plan to achieve it. One can run on every single day instead of being sidetracked by distractions or going astray more. However, people with goals accomplish more than those with unwritten goals due to their belief that they already have goals and never engage in the hard disciplined effort of goal setting. This suggests that master skill of success can multiply one's chances of success. New Year's resolutions are often not followed through, but those who do write them down are more likely to achieve their goals by 10 times or 1000%. This is due to the discipline of writing, which is a psycho-neuromotor activity that forces people to think and concentrate in order to choose what is more important to them and their future. The brain has both a success and a failure mechanism, with the failure mechanism being the temptation to follow the undisciplined path of least resistance to do what is fun and easy rather than what is hard and necessary. This can help people change their lives by having a rudder, a compass, and a clear destination sailing in a straight direction. A client of the narrator discussed the importance of writing down goals and making plans for accomplishing them at an old age. He was selling cars for a dealership in Nashville and earning about $50,000 a year. This enabled him to become a lifelong goal setter and eventually take control of his life. The homing pigeon is a remarkable bird that can fly back to its home roost no matter how far away it starts or in what direction it must go. It has an uncanny intelligence that enables it to know instinctively where its home roost is located and then fly directly back to the roost. This is the only creature on Earth that has this ability, except for humans. The 7-step method to achieving goals is a powerful tool that can help individuals set and achieve their goals faster. It involves understanding what needs to be accomplished, how to get there, and how to design the best job and workplace. This method can be divided into 7 steps, with the first step being specific, the second being easy to achieve, and the third being more complex and detailed. By writing down these steps, individuals can accomplish 10 times more than they have ever accomplished before and make more money. Henry Ford taught that goals are not in writing, but written goals are something that can be read and modified. To achieve a goal, one should set a deadline, break it down into small steps, make a list of obstacles and difficulties, and organize the list by sequence and priority. This list should include all the knowledge and skills needed to achieve the goal, as well as the people whose cooperation and support will be essential. Star Trek is a key step in a process that involves taking action to achieve a goal, which is essential for success. It involves planning ahead and taking action with no guarantees of success, but being willing to face failure and disappointment. The key step is to do something every day that moves you in the direction of your goal, develop momentum, and develop a habit and discipline to work towards your goals. This is a powerful goal-achieving method that can be taught by many people, and involves writing out a clean sheet of paper at the top of the page every day. Write down goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next months by writing down financial, family, fitness, and personal possessions. Once you write down your goals, you can select one goal that would have the greatest positive impact on your life. Put a circle around the goal and then write it at the top of a clean sheet of paper. Make a plan and organize it by sequence and prioritize the most important or logical next step. Do something immediately and take action on it. With this mindset, failure is not an option. Napoleon Hill is a technique used to increase the likelihood of achieving a goal and to create a powerful creative thinking technique. This involves writing out one's major definite purpose and then discipline oneself to generate answers. This exercise of mindstorming can unleash creativity and give you ideas that may have never been thought of before. The first 3 to 5 answers will become difficult and the last 10 answers will be harder than you can imagine. The most important application of the law of cause and effect is that thoughts are causes and conditions are effects, which create the conditions of life when you change your thinking. Finally, the greatest discovery in the history of thought is that you become what you think about most of the time, which is what you can think about on an ongoing basis. The classic Think and Grow Rich is a concept that was first published in and is still selling today. It is important to think about your goals and develop self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-respect in order to become unstoppable. Self-discipline is the most powerful step to achieve all your material and emotional goals. Action exercises for you to switch on your success mechanism and unlock your goal-achieving motivation by deciding what you really want in life. This can be done through action exercises such as writing down a list of goals, selecting the one goal that could have the greatest positive impact on your life, organizing it by sequence and priority, taking action on it, mindstorming, resolving to do something every day, and reminding yourself that failure is not an option. Today, people are graduating from high school and college in their 70s and developing new capabilities. Earning ability is a precious financial asset that can be developed throughout life. It can be either an appreciating or a depreciating asset, with the latter being more important. To determine if your earning ability is increasing or decreasing, ask yourself if you are going to take your company public on the stock market and if it has leveled off in the marketplace. The rule of cause and effect applies to income, with the top % of Americans controlling as much as % of the assets. This has led to a high level of income mobility, with almost everyone in the top 20% starting in the bottom. The average income increase in America is about % a year, just about the same as the rate of inflation and cost of living increases. To achieve personal excellence, one must make a decision or commit to excellence in their chosen field. The most important details of Abraham Lincoln's quote are that it is essential to continually learn and grow every day in order to become the best person possible. He also states that some have become wealthy and that others have done it as well. Additionally, he states that almost every important skill is learnable, and that those who are proficient in any area of business are learnable. Finally, he believes that financial success is due to a dedication to lifelong learning and dedication. To achieve goals, it is important to make a decision from a different point in life. This can be done by making a decision to complete education, start a new business, take a job or invest in a particular way, or be the best in the field. It is also important to identify the people who are already at the top of the field and ask questions such as how they plan, organize, walk, talk, behave, read, associate with courses, listen to music, and drive cars. These questions can help individuals become one of the most competent and respected people in their field. David Milton of Harvard concluded that the selection of a reference group can have a huge impact on success in life. He believes that the reference group is made up of people who you identify and associate with, and that they are always willing to help you improve. This was exemplified by Bob Barton, who found that the top salespeople in the office were not as busy as the junior salespeople, and he decided to pattern himself after them. He asked one of the top salespeople for advice on a book or audio program that would help him improve his situation, and when he got the recommendation, he went out and got the book. The most important idea is that Bob was one of the top salespeople in the office and used the advice of the other salespeople to plan and organize his day, leading to Bob making more appointments, seeing more prospects, and making more sales. Within 6 months. The most profitable companies in every industry invest in the training and development of their staff, which is the magic number for lifelong learning according to American society. To achieve this goal, one must learn from hundreds and thousands of people, listen to audio programs, and ask for advice from the best. Set high income as a goal. Additionally, one should research industry statistics to find out the people in the top are earning today and plan to achieve the goal. The key to success in business and sales is simple learning and snacking up a car each time, ratchet up one notch at a time, and invest 3% of their income into themselves today. A young man about years old was giving a seminar in Detroit a few years ago and heard a 3% rule about investing 3% of his income to increase his earning ability. He invested in 2 audio learning programs on sales and time management, one of which he invested $90,000 each year to become a better entrepreneur. This led to an increase of 50% in income from $20,000 to $30,000, a significant return on investment. The next year he invested $50,000 in his learning program, taking more seminars, traveling across the country to a conference, buying more audio and video learning programs, and even hiring a part-time coach. His income increased from $30,000 to $100,000 every year. This is an extraordinary example of how to increase income goals. The speaker discussed how much money is invested into themselves every year, and how it is possible to invest more in personal development. The speaker suggests that to become one of the top people in a field, one must take 3 steps: read minutes in the field, turn off the television, and read material each day. Additionally, they should listen to educational audio programs, attend courses and seminars, and take online courses in the convenience of their own home courses. Compound interest is also a powerful tool for compound learning, as it allows one to learn more and grow the achievement of mastery. Jeffrey Colvin's best-selling book suggests that mastery requires 7 years or 10,000 hours of hard work to become a master salesperson, a successful business person, and an excellent diesel mechanic. He believes that the key to success is to commit to excellence and follow up with continuous purposeful disciplined action. However, he also states that talent is not enough, as many people learn how to do their job in the first year and never get any better. He worries about money, as the average person does only an average job and earns an average income. He also adds that if someone is not getting better, they will get worse and need to invest in 2 extra hours per day to reach the superior. The most important idea is that 2 extra hours each day can move you from average performance to superior performance. To achieve this, it is important to devote 2 hours each day to continuous learning. This can be done by reading in personal or professional development literature, listening to audio programs, taking additional courses, and upgrading skills in the evenings and on the weekends. The average adult watches about 5 hours of television each day, but psychologists have shown that the more television you watch, the lower are your levels of energy and self-esteem. People who watch too much television can gain weight and become physically unfit, but if they turn it off when they are with their family, they can free up time to invest in becoming a better, smarter, or more competent person. A 7-step formula can be used to increase productivity, performance, and output and income by 1,000% over the next 10 years. It is possible for a normal, intelligent, hardworking individual to increase their output by 0.5% or 1/200th in a single week. This means that they would be 0.5% better per week multiplied times 4 or 2%. The most important idea is that by working on yourself a little bit each day, learning new skills, setting priorities, and focusing on higher value activities, you can become more productive over the course of an entire year. The law of accumulation, or the law of incremental improvement, states that if you continue to improve at a rate of 26% per year, by the end of 10 years with compounding, you could be 1,004% more productive. To achieve this, you should invest the first hour of the day in yourself by reading something educational, motivational, or spiritual. This will help you set yourself up mentally to have an excellent day and increase your income. The average adult reads less than 1 nonfiction book per year, but if they were to read 1 hour per day in their field each year, they could increase their productivity and income by 1,000% over 10 years. To achieve this, they should rewrite their goals in the present tense every morning and plan every day in advance. Additionally, they should set priorities and choose the most important thing that they could be doing at every moment. Finally, they should discipline themselves to concentrate single-mindedly on one thing each day and work on it until it is complete. This will help them to double their productivity, performance, and increase their income. The most important details are that listening to educational audio programs in your car can give you a 1,000% increase over 10 years, that 2 magic questions after every call or event can help you improve your performance, and that treating people like million-dollar customers can speed up the rate at which you move into the top 20%. Finally, it is important to start your day well by making the most important people in your life the most important. The most important idea is to practice 7 steps each day for a month to develop a habit of continuous personal improvement that can carry you onward and upward for the rest of your life. These steps include making a decision to invest in yourself and getting better, identifying the most important skill you have that determines the quality and quantity of results at work, making a plan to get better in each one, and deciding which one skill would have the greatest impact on your earning ability. The greatest payoff is that every time you learn and apply something new, your brain releases endorphins that make you feel happier and more excited about your future, leading to a greater sense of personal power, self-esteem, self-respect, and pride. Courage is essential for overcoming the fears and doubts that hold most people back. The most important idea is that courage is not absence of fear, but rather control of fear and mastery of fear. It is necessary to preserve life, prevent injury, and guard against financial mistakes, and requires large amounts of self-discipline to deal courageously with fear-inducing events. The most common fears that interfere with our happiness are the fears of failure, poverty, loss of money, embarrassment, ridicule, rejection, criticism, rejection and criticism, and the loss of respect or respect. Self-discipline and courage are 2 of the most important virtues, with courage being the ability to deal with and act in spite of fear, while fear is the ability to be controlled and controlled by fear. Fortunately, All fears are learned and can be unlearned by practicing discipline repeatedly with regard to fear until it goes away. The most common reaction in a fear situation is the attitude of I can't, which is the fear of failure and loss that stops us from taking action. This fear paralyzes action and causes the individual to revert to the fight or flight reaction, which is a terrible emotion that undermines our happiness and can hold us back throughout our lives. To overcome this fear, we can affirm and act as if we already have the quality we desire by visualizing ourselves performing with confidence in an area where we are fearful. This will eventually be accepted by our subconscious mind as instructions for our performance, and our self-image will be altered by feeding our mind positive images of ourselves performing at our best. The law of reversibility states that if you feel a certain way, you will act in a manner consistent with that feeling, even if you don't feel it. This is one of the greatest breakthroughs in success psychology and can help a salesperson break out of a sales slump by instructing them to go out and call on prospects as fast as they can without caring if they make a sale. One sales organization has a daily prize for the first salesperson who gets rejected, so by the time the contest is over, everyone's fears of rejection have been blown out of their systems and they are ready to call on prospects all day long. The most important details in this text are that Toastmasters International created a system based on systematic desensitization to help people become confident and competent when speaking on their feet, on the same page about what work is. The most important idea is to make a list of all the results you feel you have been hired to accomplish and to organize your job based on your boss's priorities. Benjamin Trigo, co-founder of the Kepner-Trigo consulting firm and author of The Rational Manager, suggests that the worst use of time is to do very well on tasks that need not be done at all. Working on low-value tasks can keep you from working on the most important things and can sabotage your career. The key to doubling productivity and output and eventually increasing income is to really work all the time you're at work. Don't waste time, don't chat with coworkers, and don't read the newspaper or surf the internet. The most important idea is to keep yourself motivated and focused by talking to yourself in a positive way and repeating the mantra back to work whenever you find yourself slowing down on a major task. This will help you develop the reputation for being the hardest working person in the organization and will help you fight against distractions and interruptions. The most important details in this text are that the author found a formula that made them successful in the corporate competition. This formula was simple. Whenever their boss gave them something to do, they would immediately complete the task and rush back to their boss with a finished job. They would then go to their boss and say they want more responsibility, and their boss would toss them sticks to keep them busy. After 6 months, the author was asked to fly to Reno to begin development work on a property that the company was purchasing. They went straight to the lawyer and engineer who was in charge of the development work. The most important details in this text are the 3-part formula for success at work. Come in a little earlier, work harder and stay a little later, and get a reputation for being the person who does things fast. This will help you advance in your career more than any other reputation, and will move you far ahead of your competitors. It also helps to plan and organize your day and get started on your most important tasks before anyone else arrives, and to make sure that whatever time your boss comes to work, you are always there working before he arrives. Time management is key to success at work. It is important to work through lunchtime. Work 1 hour later than your coworkers, and use the plus formula to succeed faster. By working through lunch and working 1 hour later, you can add 3 full productive hours to your day, doubling or even triple your productivity performance and output. The average self-made millionaire works 5-hour days or 6-hour days per week, making them the most successful. The most important idea is that to succeed at work, it is important to look the part and dress for success. Dress and groom in a way that your boss would be proud to take you out for lunch and introduce you to others. Look in the mirror and ask yourself if you look like one of the top people in your field. Learn how to dress for success, read books and articles, ask others for advice, and look at the most successful people in your business. Self-discipline is essential to fulfilling your potential as a leader, and by working hard and focusing on higher value tasks, you can become one of the most valuable people in your organization. Make a decision to become one of the top people in your company and industry. Identify the 3 things that contribute the greatest value to your work and your company. Develop a new work schedule. Identify the most important results. Determine the person who is the best dressed and groomed in your company. Resolve to use them as a role model. Develop a sense of urgency, and move fast when given a job or opportunity. Self-discipline and leadership are essential for effective leadership, and it is not possible to imagine an effective leader who lacks self-discipline, willpower, self-control and self-mastery. Leadership is learnable and can be developed through hard work, experience and training. 4 stages of development in business involve 4 levels of activity and attainment. The role of a leader is to take responsibility for results, and the primary reason that people are promoted into higher levels of leadership is because they demonstrate the ability to get the required results. Leaders have vision, which is the ability to project forward into the future and develop a clear picture of where they want their organizations to get. Leaders become leaders when they accept responsibility for results and develop a vision for themselves and their company. There are hundreds of books written about leadership and the importance of vision. A leader is a standard bearer who sets the standard for the organization or department. They are the role model for everyone in the organization, and their personality and influence affects everyone below them. When they become a leader, they have a special responsibility to discipline and control their words and behaviors in order to bring about the best possible results for their organization and for other people. The most important details in this text are that the leader sets the standards for the organization's behavior, quality of work, personal organization, time management, and appearance. The leader also sets the standard for how people are treated in the organization, and must have a set of values and organizing principles that guide behavior and decision making. To be an effective leader, the leader must be clear about who they are and what they stand for, be clear about their vision and where they want to lead their people, and be absolutely clear about the goals and objectives of the organization and how they are to be achieved. Finally, they must know why they are doing what they do and what their company has been formed to accomplish. The most important details in this text are that the leader must set a standard of excellent performance for the organization, be committed to the success of the organization, identify constraints, allocate resources to alleviate them, foster creativity, encourage people to find faster, better, cheaper and easier ways to produce excellent products and services, and provide time and resources for training and development. Additionally, the leader must have the self-discipline to be consistent, reliable, calm, and predictable in all situations. The most important details in this text are that when a leader rises to a position of leadership, they will experience crises that are unpredictable and often capable of damaging the organization. In times of crisis, the leader must demonstrate their competence by being calm, objective, and in control. They must also keep their fears and misgivings private and ask questions to gain a better understanding of the situation. Finally, they must act as if they own the company and accept a high level of personal responsibility. Leaders are action-oriented and take complete responsibility for getting results, focus on completing their most important tasks, upgrade their knowledge and skills, contribute value to their company, treat others with kindness and consideration, and develop and practice the disciplines necessary to be more successful in their business life and activities. 7 action exercises include asking yourself what results are expected of you, seeing yourself as the leader of your organization, creating a clear vision for yourself and your organization based on success and excellent performance, identifying the most important people in your business world, resolving crises in advance, clarifying values and principles, and treating each person around you as if they are competent, valuable, and important. Self-discipline in business is excellent training for the boardroom. The first law of economics is scarcity, which states that there is never enough of anything for everyone who wants. To succeed in business, one must compete against other uses of the same amount of money, offer a product or service that people want and will pay for at a price that is competitive with others, and be honest with their product-service mix. False assumptions or incorrect conclusions can lead to failure. The customer is always right, and 70% of business decisions will turn out to be wrong in the fullness of time. When starting a new business, it is important to have self-discipline and character to face the possibility that you could be wrong. This discipline is essential if you want to minimize mistakes and redirect resources toward offering customers more of the things they really want and are willing to pay for. Additionally, entrepreneurs must have high levels of optimism and marketability, be willing to take financial risk and invest many hours to achieve their goals, and be able to curb their confidence to remain objective and realistic. Lastly, entrepreneurs must do their homework thoroughly in advance and create a complete business plan before they start operations. Advanced planning can make the difference between success and failure. It is important to identify and determine your ideal customer, Develop a marketing plan that generates a steady and predictable stream of new leads, be clear about your competitive advantage and unique selling proposition, and develop a complete sales system from beginning to end to convert qualified leads into solid customers. Failure is often due to errant assumptions, which must be tested carefully before committing to a business. The most important details in this text are that businesses must have the discipline to determine accurate costs and the proper pricing of their products and services, develop a customer service policy, and create and keep a sufficient number of customers in a cost-effective manner. Customer satisfaction is the key to long-term success, as it is only when customers buy from you again that you demonstrate that you have fulfilled the promise you made to them. Successful businesses rely on repeat business, which is only possible with high-level customer satisfaction and recommendations and referrals. The most important details in this text are that to succeed in business, it is important to develop and maintain customer service policies, set high standards, practice the Connie formula, be proactive rather than reactive, focus on solutions rather than problems, focus on the most important thing every hour of every day, and settle in for the long term to develop a long-term perspective. It is also important to work long hours for many months and years to get to the top of your business, as it takes many years of disciplined effort to become a business. The most important details to consider when launching a business are the average time it takes to break even, the amount of positive cash flow taken to pay back the money borrowed in the first 2 years, and the potential for long-term success. To stay ahead of the competition, businesses should focus on creating and keeping a customer. This can be done by looking at every area of the business, identifying the 20% of products and services that account for 80% of sales and profits, and listing 3 ways to improve customer service, attract more qualified leads, and make more sales to the prospects. Self-discipline and sales are also essential for business success. Germany is a region in which sales is a difficult profession that requires the self-discipline to focus and concentrate on generating sales every hour of every business day. A study of several senior executives and business owners found that the average business owner or executive who professed that sales were essential to survival and growth was only spending 1% of their time on sales and marketing, while the remaining time was spent on meetings, administrative work, luncheons, and other activities. This suggests that if a sales manager or business owner is a salesperson, they must discipline themselves to focus on maximizing their time and attention. Salesperson entrepreneurs or business owners must dedicate themselves entirely to sales generation to generate the sales they need to do. To do this, they must focus on sales generation and turn their attention to the market. This will help them overcome their fear of rejection and ensure that their products and services are reasonably priced and suited to the current market. Rejection is the biggest problem that telephone salespeople and outside salespeople face, as it can sabotage a sales career and undermine sales activities. Sales success requires discipline and hard work to avoid rejection. The average salesperson works 5 to 8 hours a day, spending the rest of the time shuffling paperwork, reading the newspaper, and taking extended lunches and coffee breaks. To maximize sales success, salespeople should spend more time with better prospects and procrastinate delay throughout the sales day to avoid getting face-to-face with people who can say the key to sales success. This will help them to identify the most important details and explain them.